if I told you that the reason you can't focus on studying isn't because you lack discipline, but because your brain is literally starving for the wrong kind of stimulation? Picture this. It's 2 a.m. and there I was, staring at my calculus textbook for the third hour straight. Not reading it, mind you, just staring. My phone was buzzing with notifications, my laptop had 17 YouTube tabs open, and my brain felt like it was drowning in digital quicksand. Sound familiar? I'd spent the entire day telling myself I'd study after this one video or once I finished scrolling through this, but that moment never came. And the worst part? I genuinely wanted to succeed academically. I had goals, dreams, a future I was working toward, so why couldn't I just start? That night, something clicked. I realized I'd been approaching this problem completely backwards. For months, I'd been fighting a war against distraction, deleting apps, using website blockers, putting my phone in another room. And sure, these tactics worked for about 3 days. Then I'd find new ways to procrastinate, new digital rabbit holes to fall into. But here's what I discovered. The problem wasn't the distractions themselves. The problem was what my brain had learned to crave. You see, when we consume endless streams of content, whether it's TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, or YouTube rabbit holes, our brains get addicted to a specific type of stimulation. We become passive recipients of information, constantly expecting to be entertained without effort. So when we sit down to study, our brain essentially throws a tantrum. It's like asking someone who's been eating candy all day to suddenly enjoy a salad. The salad might be nutritious, but it doesn't trigger those same instant gratification pathways. Here's the game-changing insight that transformed my study habits. Instead of just consuming information, I started creating it. Let me explain what I mean. Instead of passively reading my history textbook, I began making my own study videos, even if no one would ever see them. Instead of highlighting passages in my biology notes, I started creating diagrams and flowcharts. Instead of just solving math problems, I began explaining the solutions out loud as if I were teaching someone else. This shift from consumer to creator does something magical to your brain. When you create, you're actively engaging with the material instead of passively absorbing it. You're building neural pathways instead of just triggering reward centers. Think about it. When you watch a YouTube video about photosynthesis, you might remember 10% of it by next week. But when you create your own explanation of photosynthesis, even if it's just talking to your bedroom wall, you're forced to understand it deeply enough to reconstruct it. Here's how to implement this. For every subject you're studying, find a way to become the teacher instead of just the student. In math, don't just solve problems. Explain your process step by step as if you're making a tutorial. In literature, don't just read the novel. Create character analysis charts or write alternative endings. In science, don't just memorize facts. Design experiments or create analogies that make complex concepts simple. The key is this: your brain craves stimulation, so give it the right kind. The same mental energy you spend scrolling can be redirected into creating, and suddenly studying becomes as engaging as social media. After I started doing this, something incredible happened. Not only did I retain information better, but I actually began looking forward to study sessions. My brain stopped seeing studying as this boring, painful task and started seeing it as an opportunity to create something meaningful. I went from someone who couldn't focus for 5 minutes to someone who could study for hours without even realizing time had passed. And here's the beautiful irony. When I did consume content, I became much more selective about it. I gravitated toward educational material that could fuel my own creations. The habit that forces your brain to start studying isn't about discipline or willpower. It's about redirecting your natural craving for stimulation from passive consumption to active creation. Your brain wants to be engaged. It wants to be challenged. It wants to build something. So stop fighting against these impulses and start channeling them into your studies. Stop being a consumer of information and start being a creator of understanding. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.